Ready to transform your relationships and master your emotions? Today we're unlocking the secrets behind emotional intelligence. We'll explore how to understand your emotions on a profound level, manage your emotions effectively, and cultivate empathy and compassion. I'm going to be going over what is emotional intelligence, what is mental health, and everything in between. Stay tuned till the end, where I share one of my daily practices that has transformed my life. Let's dive in. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so I can continue making amazing content like this, where we talk about well-being. Now, before we dive into ways that you can strengthen your emotional intelligence, let's start with the basics. What exactly is emotional intelligence, or what some people might call EQ? Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, manage, and understand not only your emotions, but the emotions of those around you. It's about being in tune with your feelings, whether it's identifying your own or empathizing with someone else's. Now, how is EQ different from IQ? While IQ measures your ability to solve problems and think logically, EQ is all about your emotional and social skills. Skills that are critical in our day-to-day interactions. Think of IQ as the what and the EQ as the how. So, why does this matter, especially in relationships? EQ is essential in building deeper, more meaningful connections. It helps us understand our partners, our friends, our colleagues better on an emotional level, which in turn makes us better communicators and more compassionate listeners. For example, if you have a good handle on your emotional intelligence, you are able to manage your emotions when you feel triggered in an argument. You know that the argument is not going to last forever and these feelings will pass. Therefore, you don't react. You adapt and become curious to how the other person is feeling depending on the situation. This ability to be able to maintain composure during arguments is a way to turn heated arguments into opportunities of growth. Beyond communication and conflict resolution, emotional intelligence is a cornerstone of well-being. People with higher emotional intelligence tend to have less stress in life, better coping mechanisms, and stronger, healthier relationships. It's not about knowing what you feel. It's about knowing how to act when you feel those things. So if you want to communicate more effectively, handle arguments with grace, and cultivate relationships that thrive, emotional intelligence is key. Now let's get into what the meaning of mental health is. I have some notes right here from the World Health Organization, and the World Health Organization states that mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn to work well, be able to learn well, work well, and contribute to their community. It is an integral component of health and well-being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships, and shape the world we live in. Mental health is a basic human right. It is crucial to personal, community, and socioeconomic development. They also have here stated a section of what determines your mental health, and that says, throughout our lives, multiple individual, social, and structural determinants may combine to protect or undermine our mental health and shift our position on the mental health continuum, which I feel like that means depending on the things that happen to you in your life, you're going to get pushed to one way of thinking or another dependent upon what you've gone through. That's true. That sounds true to me. It also states here, individual psychological and biological factors such as emotional skills, substance use, and genetics can make people more vulnerable to mental health problems. So, yeah, depending on your environment, that will dictate how well you can make judgments in your life, maybe. I think that means that the environment in which you're in can definitely dictate how you view the world. But to me, that definition of mental health has everything to do with your well-being and being, I think it means exactly what it said, your ability to cope with the things that happen in your life is what mental health is all about, And that's part of my mission here, is to better people's mental health and their well-being, from a standpoint of someone who is on the journey as well and is just learning every day. What does mental health mean to you? Let me know down in the comments below. Mental health was never something I really thought about when I was growing up. In Detroit, I feel like life was all about survival and getting through the day. I didn't know what self-care was. I definitely didn't have a routine. I was just kind of going with life and not really thinking about any of the repercussions or consequences of my choices. I just kind of made impulsive decision after impulsive decision until, I was burnt out. Quite literally, I got burnt out many times in my life. I did not have good mental health. And I think there were a few years when the ADHD became very strong, and I kind of, in a way, just let my mental health run wild. And that's when my choices became, I think, really maybe harmful to myself. And I think that's when I hit rock bottom and I realized that something had to change. And when that happened, I decided I was going to make something of myself. And yeah, I think I've done a pretty good job of that. And I think I've done a pretty good job of making good choices since then. I still mess up a lot because life does not, there is no instruction manual to how to live your life. So I feel like the things that I went through in Detroit made me extremely resilient as a person and made me able to adapt in many, many different situations. I went from working on political campaigns to working in national parks to becoming a dairy farmer to now doing podcasting and everything in between, hospitality, office work. I've worked at a diagnostic center where we were doing drug testing and DNA testing for, different people who wanted it and organizations. I have had a very multifaceted background and I like trying new things. I think it keeps me going in life. Doesn't that keep all of us going in life? Finding something new that still makes you happy, still being able to find beauty in life, in new things, in new chapters. It's really nice. It's really great. And for me, that gives me the motivation to keep trying because I see myself through all these seasons of my life and how I've grown so much. It's amazing. I'm sitting here talking to you guys about mental health, and that's just beautiful to me, I think, because it shows that anybody can change their life for the better. Well, because I know that if I can do this, you can too. And it's really that simple because I was going nowhere in life and now that's not the case. And it's a really beautiful thing. And if I can just change one person's life, that would be enough. I do find that there can be a stigma when it comes to mental health and well-being. I live in New Zealand and, it's still a concept here that I do find more people talking about now, which is a really positive sign that, we're moving away from the older mindset that mental health doesn't exist and you just put your boots on and you get going with what you got to do because you matter and what you feel matters and how things affect you matter. And it's just so important. And for a long time here in New Zealand, people from, what my husband says, people, didn't look at mental health, especially men didn't look at mental health. And it's really important because, well, there is an epidemic of men on earth right now, I feel like, and that's my opinion. And I think we all just need to be a little nicer to each other, especially in the farming community. I think that it's hard being a farmer, and I think that it takes a strong person to be a farmer. I started farming, and I farmed for 3 years while I was here during the pandemic because they needed farmers and I wanted to be here. So that's what I did because I adapt, and no matter the challenge in front of me, I will figure it out because you have to if you want to find real happiness, I think. I wish that more farms would incorporate mental health into their business practice and team building experiences. You know, the farms that I worked on, they had team building experiences together. We hung out with each other. You know, I didn't have the best mental health working on a farm. I'm definitely not strong enough to do that job. I respect people who can do that job and who are able to give us food, because without farmers, there's no food. You know, there's an epidemic in the farming community as well with mental health problems. And I mean, I completely understand. Like, I had never been so lonely except for when I was farming, and it does take a toll on you. And I definitely feel that I have changed in ways that I probably will never be the same as I was before farming, you know? And that just comes with, I think, the decision of choosing that line of work and that life. And it's a beautiful life, but if you don't grow up doing it, I think it's really hard unless it's something you're extremely, extremely passionate about. And to be honest, I love the city and I love malls and I love walking on the beach. And I mean, that's not in all cities, but you know, I wasn't strong enough to be a farmer. Well, I wasn't strong enough to be a farmer and go to, you know, a higher level of employment. Farming is a beautiful job, and I was in the best shape of my life. I had never been in better shape than when I was farming. I was the lowest my weight had ever been. I was in shape. I was healthy. It's crazy. Maybe I'll insert a photo here of during that time, but it's really interesting how your physical health can be the best it's ever been, and your mental health be in some ways the worst it has ever been, and how that can completely switch when you move to town and have a baby. But we're working on it. I have been uploading shorts of my weight loss journey, and it's been going pretty well. So that's good. I just think people need to be nicer to each other. Life is short, and we just need to care about people's feelings more. And we also, I think, in the same regard, I think we also need to learn how to cultivate resilience as well for ourselves in our own lives. Because, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of like respect everyone's feelings, but, you know, also try not to get offended by everything in life, because I mean, what kind of existence is that if you're just going to be upset all the time about everything and not be able to handle anything in life? It's just you're going to be miserable. Mental health and well-being are so closely tied together that, you know, it is so important that we think about them, you know, together in a way. And like for me in my journey, once I started prioritizing my mental health, I noticed changes everywhere. It was incredible. I've become more patient with my daughter and my husband. I've been able to become more patient with a lot of people, and my physical health has been improving, and I've been able to do more with my family, which is amazing because of course, you know, I want to be there with my daughter when she, you know, she's starting to really have fun and play, and I want to be there and be able to do the stuff with her, play on the playground, play tag, be a fun mom. I want to be a fun mom. Honestly, she is the best thing that ever happened to me in the whole entire world of the universe. My daughter motivates me to be better every single day. And that's why I'm putting all my business out there for the world to see and to give me accountability in life. And hopefully you'll give yourself some accountability too, listening to my podcast. Emotional intelligence and mental health are like two sides of the same coin. They are so deeply intertwined and connected. When we develop emotional intelligence, we are better equipped to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, which plays a huge role in maintaining our mental well-being. For example, practicing self-awareness helps us understand when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, giving us a chance to address it before it snowballs. Emotional regulation, another extremely important part of EQ, helps us manage difficult emotions like anxiety or anger in healthy ways, reducing their impact on our mental health. On the flip side, taking care of our mental health creates stability and clarity that we need in order to build emotional intelligence. When we're balanced and supported, we're better able to practice empathy, communicate effectively, and connect with others. So whether you're focusing on your mental health or working on strengthening your emotional intelligence, know that both are working together to give you a fulfilled, happier life. Let's talk about the foundation of emotional intelligence. Understanding your emotions. We all experience a wide variety of emotions: happy, sad, angry, mad, frustrated, embarrassed, and many more, each serving its purpose. For instance, joy can strengthen bonds, while anger might signal when something feels unfair or unjust. But if we don't understand our emotions, they can easily create misunderstandings and strained relationships. So, how do we get a sense of what we're feeling? One powerful technique is identifying and labeling our emotion. Instead of saying, "I feel mad," go deeper and ask yourself, what am I really feeling underneath the anger? Because anger is generally what's on top and what is the most outward showing emotion, and usually there's something underneath it that's might not be anger. It might be embarrassment, a feeling of abandonment. There's many things that it could be. Giving your emotions a name truly helps you identify what you're feeling, but also helps you clarify your communication with others. Here's something simple you can try. Throughout the day, stop and pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And then I want you to write it down, and over time, you will start to recognize patterns in what you might be feeling at certain times or certain situations. And in a minute, I'll show you what I use on a daily basis to help me better understand my emotions, and has literally been a game changer with the way that I communicate with my husband, and it's been really great. Another tool for this would be mindfulness, being present within your body in the moment, taking account of how you feel, how your body feels physically. When you're feeling unsure of your emotions, you take a moment and breathe and get back within your body. I try every day now to work on my mindfulness a little bit more and trying to be just a little bit more present each day. And this last one I have for you that can help you understand your emotions in a better way would be the ability to have self-awareness. But being self-aware comes with practice. The more you understand your emotions, the better equipped you'll be to understand and navigate through them. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So start small and work on practicing checking in with your emotions daily and go from there. These steps will not only transform how you see yourself, but they will also change the way you show up in your relationships. You don't have to do everything all at once. All you have to do is take one small step. Drink an extra glass of water. Go to bed 5 minutes early. It doesn't take much to start building the life you really want. Everything is connected. When your mind feels good, your body and your spirit flow along with it. Things I've learned so far is that it's a great idea for me to write in a journal. I have a little journal app on my phone. Most iPhones, I think, come with them. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I didn't download this app, and I'm pretty sure it came on the phone, but don't quote me. But I use this journal app on my phone, and I just write, a couple of sentences, throw in a picture, and there you go. And it really has helped me feel better and be able to process things in a better way. Another thing I like to use, and I also got my husband to start using it as well, is a feelings app. We use this app. I'm definitely not sponsored, but let me just go ahead and grab it really quick so I can show you guys. This app is called How We Feel. It's a great app. I'm not sponsored, but I definitely think it's a good tool in order for you to be able to understand more about what you're feeling. If you go day to day and you don't really know, you just feel mad, sad, happy, very, you can't really go much deeper than that. I think that having a feelings app on your phone is a great tool in order for you to try to dig a little deeper and start figuring out what's going on. And also, it's good for also recognizing patterns in your life. Like if you fill it out 3 times a day or once a day or twice a day, it'll start giving you data about when you feel certain things. Like maybe every morning you wake up excited. So it's like, oh, in the mornings, you're generally a very excited person, or whatever. So it kind of can give you some insight. Like, sometimes maybe in the early afternoons, you might be feeling down or whatnot. And then it will be like, so you'll know like things about yourself. And it's really good. It really has helped me to understand more about myself and about how I'm feeling. So yeah, here's the app. I have a little widget, and then I'll just go into click how you feel. There are like 4 different areas. We've got these are like high energy, there's all different types of things. You can click whatever you want, and then you can just click check in, and it's great. It gives you good data. Again, I'm definitely not sponsored by that app. I just use it a lot, and I have been using it a lot recently. Once you've identified what you're feeling, then you need to identify how you're going to be managing your emotions. Once you've identified learning what your emotions are, the next step is learning how to manage them, which is a process called emotional regulation. Emotional regulation means the ability to control your emotions in a way that conveys your values and strengthens your relationships. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but it's about being able to convey that in a constructive way. Now, why is this important? Because leaving unchecked negative emotions can escalate conversations quickly into arguments, create misunderstandings, and damage trust. Emotional regulation allows us to stop and pause internally rather than just reacting in the moment. So, how do we manage those difficult emotions like sadness or anger? I've got a few practical strategies for you. The first thing I have for you would be to stop and take a break. Take a moment, take 5, 10, 20 minutes away from whatever the situation is, and just try to bring yourself back down to baseline, and then you're able to go back into the conversation or situation with a more level head, and you're able to not be reactive and maybe become curious in that instance, or at least just be able to respond in a polite and manageable way that will at least create some type of positive change. Another thing you could do would be practice relaxation techniques. Take a few minutes, listen to a mindfulness meditation, or just sit and listen to the sounds around you outside. Simple practices like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or even meditation are a great way to relax your body and calm your nervous system. For instance, you could try breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. And try repeating that a couple of times. That breathing technique has definitely helped me in a few situations. The next strategy I have for you would be to try and reframe your perspective. Is there any way that you could look at this situation differently in order to, come to a reconciliation? When you try and reframe the way you look at a situation, it can help you look at it with more clarity and understanding, and less emotional intensity. And the last strategy I have for you would be to seek help, seek advice. Talk to a trusted family member, friend, or therapist about what is going on, and seek support from the people around you. They can provide great insight or maybe relieve some stress or make you not feel so alone. Please remember that managing your emotions doesn't mean that you don't feel them. It means learning to respond in a way that aligns with your goals and strengthen your relationships. The next time you feel anger or sadness, try one of these techniques. Over time, you will build resilience in order to navigate through your emotions in a way that aligns with how you want to be showing up for your relationships and for yourself. Being able to manage your emotions will help in every situation you ever be in your entire existence as a human on Earth, because we are a social animal, if you want to call us that. Like, you need to be able to communicate effectively and politely, or you're never going to get anywhere in life. Now I think it's time we talk about the most powerful aspect of emotional intelligence, which is empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, understand what they're going through, how they're feeling, and really identify with the person you're with. It is the foundation for building strong, long-lasting relationships, and it helps us relate to each other on a deeper level. When you're practicing empathy, you're telling someone, I see you, I understand you, and I am here with you. You matter. This kind of connection can transform any relationship, friends, colleagues, intimate relationships. So what are ways that we can develop empathy and show compassion in our relationships? One would be to practice active listening. When someone is speaking to you, put down your phone, give them your undivided attention, and listen intently. Don't just listen to respond, but listen to truly understand what the person is trying to convey to you. And my second thing goes with the first one. Do not listen to respond. Listen to understand what the person is trying to tell you. So when you're listening to understand, you're asking open-ended questions in order for them to talk more about whatever the topic is. These kinds of questions show that you genuinely care about what the person is talking about, and you care about their perspective and not just on the surface level. And the last section in this category would be respond with compassion. Empathy is about more than showing you understand what the person is saying. It is being able to respond to them and show that you care. If someone shares something difficult, a simple, wow, that sounds really hard to be going through that right now. I'm sorry you're dealing with that, can go such a long way. Sometimes people just need to be heard. They don't necessarily need you to fix their problems if they're coming and talking to you about it. Sometimes they just want you to sit with them and listen. Now that we've covered understanding and managing our emotions, as well as some ways to incorporate empathy, let's bring it all together and talk about how to build strong relationships. Emotional intelligence isn't just a skill, but it's a superpower when it comes to communication and relationships. Whether it's personal or professional, EQ allows you to communicate effectively, resolve issues gracefully, and foster deeper connections. In personal relationships, high EQ can foster trust and connection. EQ creates environments of trust and understanding. You become better at expressing your emotions without conveying hostile energy, be able to navigate arguments without escalating tension, and be able to read the people around you in a way you never could before. In professional settings, EQ is just as transformative. It enhances teamwork, leadership, and the ability to navigate workplace dynamics in a cohesive way. How can you start implementing these skills in your relationships today? Here are some actionable steps. Practice open communication. Make it a habit of sharing your thoughts honestly. while also encouraging others to do the same. For example, instead of saying, "You always ignore me," try saying, "I feel hurt when I don't feel heard." This can shift the focus from blaming the other person to the problem itself. Again, you always want to try and adapt other perspectives. Is there another way of looking at the situation? Can I take a few steps back and look at this situation with less emotion? You can think about what things are influencing their actions, or how might they be feeling? What are they trying to convey by their actions? And the last thing is invest in small, meaningful actions that you can build on through time. Sometimes it's the little things that strengthen bonds. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, simply showing up when it matters can make a huge difference and help make others feel connected to you. Finally, remember that cultivating emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey with many bumps in the road. So don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get it right the first time. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every conversation, every interaction is one step closer to you on your journey to emotional intelligence and better well-being. So take these steps and put them into practice and watch your relationships transform. Remember, every step forward is one step closer to a stronger, more connected version of you. I've also learned through this journey how to set boundaries and how to make space for myself, which is something I never really did before. I was the kind of person that would just say yes to everything. And if someone wanted to hang out, I would go. And even if my mental battery was, needing to be recharged, I would still go. But now I'm finding that I'm able to say no to people. And I'm working on saying no in a loving way, because before I would just say, no, thank you. And, while that's probably fine for most people, I'm trying to work on meeting people with more compassion this year and becoming more empathetic to the people around me. I think it's important. I think it's really important to set boundaries with the people you love, because if you don't, then you'll become resentful of them and you won't want to spend any time around them. And you might even not know why you feel that way. You might even not even understand what's happening, but that is what will happen. So you have to tell people what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with in order to make that relationship work. Because if you're just sitting there silent for the benefit of someone around you, then you're not happy and you're just being quiet for the other person's benefit. And that doesn't help anyone and that doesn't serve anyone. It serves the person that you're kind of obeying, but you shouldn't have people like that in your life. If they can't respect and love you and meet you where you are, then you don't deserve to deal with that kind of energy in your life. I still definitely have a lot of work to do, and I'm on this journey, and I'm really excited and optimistic for the future and where this is going to go and how much I'm going to learn. I'm just so excited for how much I'm going to learn. I have some people lined up to be on the show, and I'm really excited to share those episodes with you once I get everything sorted. I'm still really new at this, but we're getting there and we're doing everything, and I'm just so blessed and so happy and excited for the journey. I want you guys to reflect on your own relationships in your life and think about your own mental health journey. What's one small thing that you can do this week to take care of your mind? Is it journaling, going for a walk, or just giving yourself a break? Let me know down in the comments. Dan Millman says, "You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you." And that is a beautiful statement, because it's really true that when we're unaware of our well-being and our mental health, our thoughts control us. We are not in control of our thoughts. And then it ends up sending us on, well, at least for me, what I feel to be an emotional roller coaster, because you end up putting yourself in situations that end up harming you because you're unaware and you don't know, so it's good to build resilience and mental stamina. Emotional intelligence and mental health are powerful tools that can transform the way we love, live, and connect. By developing awareness, managing our emotions, and practicing empathy, we can build stronger relationships and build a great foundation for our mental well-being. Please remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. Each small step you take towards understanding your emotions and supporting your mental health brings you closer to a more balanced and fulfilled life. If today's episode has resonated with you, I encourage you to start practicing even just one of the things I talked about today in this video. Whether it's pausing to label your emotions, stopping to take a mindfulness break, or reaching out to someone with empathy. These actions make a real difference. And don't forget that the work you're doing to grow is an investment into your relationships, your happiness, and your future. Thank you for joining me today. If you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit from hearing it. Let's keep this conversation going and let's keep growing together. I'll see you guys next week.